Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our May Coffee with the Headmaster. We'll go ahead and begin. Our agenda for today is going to be mainly about the LCAP, Local Control Accountability presentation. This is the parent presentation to share our school priorities that will be submitted to the state and getting your feedback and input on any suggestions to make on our school priorities. We'll go ahead and start with the mission statement. If you guys can join me in reciting. Ready? Begin. The mission of the Orange County Classical Academy is to develop students in mind and character through a classical, content-rich, liberal arts and sciences curriculum that emphasizes the principles of scholarship, moral character, and civic virtue. Thank you. All right, updates and announcements. Ms. Clarida.
Good morning. All of you should have received the Eagle News this morning. So hopefully everybody is getting used to looking that over every week when it comes out, because there's a lot of very important information in there. Sorry. Oh yeah, I'm louder now. So hopefully you heard all of that, but if everybody could just get accustomed to looking at the Eagle News every Wednesday when it comes out, just so that you don't miss any announcements about events. I will highlight some of the events that are coming up. The one very important thing that we need from everybody is for you to complete the transportation survey. That is in the newsletter. It's extremely important for us to ensure that we are supporting everybody that will be needing, a little bit of help with transportation in between two campuses. So please, please, please take the time and fill that out. This Friday, we have a very fun event coming up. It's the Cinco de Mayo game night, and it's a family, fun, friendly event. Mrs. Mercadante is putting it together with a bunch of parents. So check the newsletter to see where you can get your tickets, where you can sign up. The Eagle Speakeasy is on May 12th, another very exciting event. It will be at 6 o'clock at Orange Hill Restaurant, and it should be a lot of fun for families, staff, everybody to come together and just have a night out. And then last but not least, it is time for everybody to do some spring cleaning. So Saturday, Mrs. Mercadante has put together a spring clean out, and it'll be here on campus. There's parking stalls for sale, and that'll be where you can sell, anything that you would like to get rid of to clean up. The gates will be open at 6 a.m. and then the event starts at 8. And there should be some food trucks. I think I heard there's a pancake breakfast. So again, a lot of fun. Thank you.
So growth and development update is going to be brief. It's incredibly important that we have as many families and staff as possible attending on May 9th, when we are expected to present our proposal to the school board of Placentia Yorba Linda Unified School District. They will probably be opening their doors at 4:45. I'll confirm that on Friday. If that's the case, then we highly recommend, if possible, parents arrive as early as possible, possibly no later than 3:45, because we do anticipate there will be quite a few people attending that meeting. So it'll be important that our community be there in the room as well. If there are any parents that are willing to get there extra early for us, in which case I'm talking about 1 in the afternoon, please reach out to me, because we would love to have a couple there just sort of monitoring and letting us know how the crowd develops. We're really excited about Tuesday, and we really want to see all of you there showing just what our school is about. Thank you.
Okay. Our lower school, as well as our upper school, has been really busy this month of May. The month of May is our testing month for grades third through eighth grade for our California state assessments. We are happy to report that our students are off to a very strong start, and they are really enjoying all the joy factors that we've built into this month. Thank you, parents, for your donations, for the healthy snacks that you've been donating for our students to enjoy after their morning of testing. As a reminder, our students are taking the ELA summative assessments this week, and our tests are broken up into two parts and strategically placed at the beginning of our school day to help our students really do their best. Thank you for helping your students come on time and arrive to school having a healthy breakfast and a good night's rest. Our students across our school from TK through eighth grade for the month of May have a perfect attendance tracker that they've really been enjoying. For each day that students arrive to school on time, they're getting a sticker on their chart. For 10 days of perfect attendance, they're going to earn one of our smaller prizes, a amazing OCCA pencil. And for 20 days of perfect attendance, our students are really excited to earn a free dress pass to be redeemed on June 2nd. And if they earn that, they will be receiving a free dress wristband. So please join us in our efforts to help our school promote perfect attendance for the month of May. Thank you.
All right, and for upper school, Mr. Romo is proctoring aspect testing right now, so he wasn't able to join us. Um, we will continue with the same schedule of testing as lower school until the end of May. And good news is that middle school it will be joining. We have been accepted to join the Charter School Sports Conference for the 23-24 school year. What that means is all of the charter schools in Orange County have the opportunity to enter a kind of like a CMO championship. And we attended a charter school meeting amongst other charter school leaders in Orange County at Santiago Middle School a few weeks ago, and they have graciously extended the invitation to our school. So we will be part of that championship for next year. So we're very excited about that. Mr. Isais, our PE teacher for this year, will be transitioning into the role of full-time athletic director next school year for upper school. And so he will be attending the meeting at the end of this month for more information. All right. Our main topic today again is going to be on the LCAP. So we'll go ahead and begin our presentation. After listening to the presentation, if you have any questions or comments or any concerns or suggestions, please feel free to email me or Mr. Davis.
So as we come towards the end of the school year, our school likes to take some time to look back at how we performed as a school to get your feedback as parents and our community members uh, to uh, to form plans for our next year. And the idea ultimately is to continually improve as a school. Um, so the way we like to think of it, sure, looks a little bit like this. This is a kind of a standard diagram of what is called a continuous improvement mindset. It's a kind of mindset organizations that are constantly trying to grow and improve have for themselves. And you can see basically the idea is it begins by determining goals, your mission, how we're going to assess success in those goals, developing an action plan, implementing that plan, and of course, how you're going to evaluate your performance. And then at the end of that cycle, you take a moment and you look back and then reassess and modify and improve your goals so you could be even better the following year. This is what's called the lessons learned phase, and that's a phase we're in right now. The kinds of questions we ask ourselves as a community and organization are, what have we done well? What can we do better? How can we improve where there's room for improvement? And how can we ensure that our successes are sustainable going forward? And really what it comes right down to when it comes to a successful team and organization is mindset. Are we going to have a learning mindset? Are we going to be open to those kinds of questions and seriously considering them? Because often, if you're not actively trying to achieve that mindset, what ensues is what you could describe as a turf mindset, where the organization kind of sees itself as its own entity and isn't particularly interested in that kind of continuous improvement and so on. For us, as a classical school, it's an opportunity to demonstrate our virtues because after all, what are we doing? We're asking ourselves, how can we improve, right? So that entails a tremendous degree of wisdom and prudence and most of all, courage. So that's how we like to think of it. Step one, improve the clicker. There we go. Oh, skipped one. There you go. All right, but this is what a formal LCAP process looks like. So LCAP stands for Local Control and Accountability Plan. This is something that's required of all schools by the California Department of Education. And it's its way to ensure that all schools are undergoing some version of this process that I'm describing. And the key things you need to see from this diagram is that what's happening is we are trying to assess ourselves as a school and academic institution so that we can make really wise decisions about how we're utilizing our financial resources. So those are those two tributaries that are converging, right? And then what's happening in the middle there is we are going through a series of analysis. We're reaching out to our families. We're trying to come up with a serious assessment from a lot of different inputs so that that can help inform our LCAP going into next year. And our goal is to be able to have that, and we'll be presenting that actually, we anticipate next week. That'll be a public hearing at the school board meeting. And then the following month at our next school board meeting is where we will be reviewing that LCAP, probably revised to some extent after we get our input. And then the vote will consider that for a vote. We've concluded the April phase, and in May is when we'll be doing that presentation. June will be the time to do the vote. So the question though for us is we're a very particular kind of school. We are a classical school. So how do we understand a process like this as a school like ours? And really what it comes down to are three basic questions. The first is, what is a classical education? The second is, what supports our mission as a classical school? And then third, what does this process ultimately look like for a school like ours? So the question of what is classical education is one I think all you as parents have heard. And the answer I like is the one I provide here in the slide in the upper right corner. I'm basically stealing from Aristotle. Classical education, when it comes right down to it, is education in wisdom and virtue. And if we want to amplify that, we can draw from Aristotle's definition and say education is an education in knowledge of a life lived in accordance with the true and the good wisdom and the virtues to pursue them. All right, so what do we mean by virtues? Well, Aristotle says virtues are those personal qualities necessary to achieve the true and the good in our lives. Okay, so that is a big picture understanding of what a classical education means. But what supports our mission as a classical school? And there are really three things that it comes down to. First off, you need a solid classical curriculum and pedagogy. And secondly, and this is possibly the most important, is you need teachers who can teach the curriculum and practice the pedagogy, right? But then third, you really need an environment where this kind of teaching can really flourish. You need a culture, you need organization, an environment, think facilities, that supports the activities necessary for this kind of education and learning. And so as we approach this process of improving or LCAP, these are really answers to the first two questions. The third question is, what does this look like in practice? Right. So there are two things that I would like to recommend to frame this process. First off, as you think about the ways that we can improve the school, think of the things that support our uh, our classical mission and outcomes, right? Because you want those to increase, you want those to improve, and then also simultaneously think about those things that undermine executing that mission, because those are things you want to reduce, right? And think about it in terms of actual performance, but also sustainability. So what do I mean by that? Well, when it comes to supporting our mission, when it comes to performance, think about things like teacher training, teacher mentorship. Those are all things that directly affect teacher performance. What about sustainability? Well, to make that sustainable, we have to hear back from our teachers also so they can inform us ways that we can support them. So that's under sustainability. If you look at the row about what undermines the mission, well, underperformance, behavior incidents, right? We would want to reduce those. Under sustainability, the things that undermine our mission are things like waste or inefficiencies or disorganization. So there's a good rubric there to review when it comes to thinking about ways that our school could improve. But the second thing, and this is at the lower left corner, and this is really key. This is really where being able to make a good assessment for self-improvement, where you can really be the most effective. And that is the Pareto principle. All right. And this principle says that roughly 80% of consequences come from 20% of causes, or the vital few. When you think about that, you think about there are probably all kinds of things that you could list that our school could do better. But if you really think about it, there are probably just a handful, maybe three, that if we actually did those better, would have a huge impact. Maybe it would improve us by 80%. And that's what we mean by the vital few. As we're thinking about ways for our school to improve, really think about the few things that you think really would have the biggest positive impact in terms of the things that support our mission, or in terms of the things that you want to diminish or reduce that might otherwise be undermining our mission. So this is how I suggest framing this conversation when it comes to topics like how we improve the school and how we approach things like the LCAP. So on our LCAP, we are required to specify three goals, three very general goals under which a lot of actions are listed. Okay, so I'm going to go over those three goals on our LCAP and give some examples of actions we've provided in our previous LCAPs in previous years, right? So our first goal, goal one, is all students will receive a classical education instruction provided by credentialed teachers and support staff, access to content-rich liberal arts and sciences curriculum, and facility maintained in good repair. So there's a lot in that sentence. Some of that are things specific to our mission as a classical school. Some of that is actually required from us from the state. So that's why we're packing in a lot of particular things in that sentence. But you can review that and ask yourself, what are some things on any of those items that you think constitute the vital few that we could do to improve? So here's some examples offered that we've used in the past. Professional development, of course, BCSI curriculum materials, staffing for instructional assistants, campus monitor and health tech staffing, custodial staffing, and so on. So under goal one, those are some examples, and we invite you to think of some things that you think we could possibly do better. Interesting. All right, so goal two, even a longer sentence. All students will be provided with appropriate curriculum materials, resources, and instruction by highly trained teachers. The training provided is for both our teachers and parents, which focus on developing high quality classical education and learning through the implementation of the classical standards that also provide access to the state standards. And again, some of that is related to our mission as a classical school. Some of it is required of us, so keep that in mind. And some examples here, professional development and purchasing reading or math diagnostic assessment. Right, so last year, we decided to implement a new math benchmark system that rolled out this year. So that's why this was in our LCAP previously. And then finally, goal three. All parents will have opportunities to participate in workshops and events, stakeholder engagement trainings, utilize resources and services, as well as provide input in decision-making practices at the school with an emphasis on English learners and special education to become true partners in their child's education. And some examples there that we have are parent engagement events and opportunities for parent involvement decision-making. So think of AAC or what we're having right now, the Coffee with the Headmaster event, right? So I recommend reviewing these three goals and the examples to perhaps give you some ideas. Now, we have also rolled out, and this is going to be key, is a parental survey. All right, and this survey was posted on Parent Square last week on Monday, April 24th. And you're going to notice a lot of the questions are familiar because 9 of them are frankly questions that we asked last year. But we added, I believe, 4 additional questions because we really want to field more specific, detailed information from you as parents. So go to the next slide. Right, you'll notice that there are 4 highlighted questions, and those are the questions that we added. And notice the nature of the questions. 8, the school provides ample opportunities for parental participation, right? Because that was in our LCAP. We want to create an opportunity for parents, right? 9, which opportunities for parental participation would you be most comfortable attending or are interested in? And there's a table under there that gives you an option to select from, or you could put other if you want to input your own specific idea about opportunities for parental engagement. Question 10, what are some topics you would like to learn more about? Now that's a question I'm particularly passionate about, so we're really interested in hearing what you would be interested in learning. So we have some ideas posted there, but again, we also have the other option in case you have something very specific in mind. You could share that with us. We're going to review these with great interest because we really want to understand from you, our parents, what your needs are on all of these items. And then we added at the end a question that really goes to how comfortable were you answering these questions? Did you feel you could give informed answers? Sometimes there are things that we can do as a school to make sure you know more about these topics. So the question is, were there any questions in the survey about what you felt insufficiently informed? And this goes on with another question about ways we could improve on informing you. So this was sent out last week on Monday, all right, April 24th. You can please find it on Parent Square and please fill it out. We've allowed 2 weeks to receive parental answers to that survey. So that means you still have a few more days until Monday next week to complete that survey. And just to add some incentive, the class that has the most parents fill out that survey will be celebrating with a icicle? I forget what it is. A popsicle party, right? So, do it because you're a parent at the school, but also do it for your kid's sweet tooth, right? So this is how we are reaching out to you as the parents to hear your feedback. If there's anything more you would like to share, you can do that by email. You can email me and let me know your thoughts. We're hoping that with the added survey questions, we'll capture most of that. But I realize there'll be other things that you might want to communicate. So that concludes our LCAP. A thing to remember is that the parent survey results are part of our reporting on the LCAP, so be sensitive to that. We want this to actually really represent the parental understanding of our school and its performance on all these topics. So we're hoping that'll be informative and representative. So that concludes the presentation. I don't anticipate many questions, but if there are any who watch this on video who have questions, please feel free to email me and I'll respond to them directly. Also, you can pose questions on the Parent Square post from April 24th, and I'll respond to those as well. I like to leave those comments open because I always like to hear the parents, what they have to ask, so I can respond to those, and sometimes that's the most efficient way. So either one of those avenues are perfectly fine, and I hope to hear from you soon.